And welcome back to Musicians Edition. Today we're going to take the groove we did in the last video and change up the right hand pattern to make it a little more interesting, a little more challenging. Okay? So if you haven't seen that groove yet, go back and check out that video. Okay? But the basis or the basic idea is we're doing 1 and 3 on the bass drum, 2 and 4 on the snare drum, and in the last video we did 8th notes on the hi-hat. Okay? Today we're going to add some variations with the right hand. Okay? So the first one is we're going to play just the quarter notes on our right hand instead of all the 8th notes, right? So our right hand is going to play 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? Instead of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Cool? So we'll get our right hand going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, it's always important to count while you play, right? Count out loud and then count in your head. Okay, so now let's add our bass drum. Bass drum on 1, a hi-hat by itself on 2, bass drum on 3, hi-hat by itself on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, now let's move forward to the next combination. So we'll put our snare drum on 2 and 4, hi-hat on 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right? Hi-hat by itself on 1, hands together on 2, hi-hat by itself on 3, hands together on 4. Here we go. Ready, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. And now that we've done those two combinations, right, let's see if we can put the whole thing together. Let's use the same kind of slow motion, kind of walk through, build up idea that we used for the previous groove. Okay, so beat 1 is going to be right foot and right hand together, hi-hat and bass drum together. Okay, beat 2 is going to be both hands together, hi-hat and snare drum together. Beat 3 is going to be bass drum, hi-hat together. Beat 4 is going to be both hands together. Okay. So let's try that. So beat 1, bass drum, hi-hat, and then both hands. Beat 3, bass drum, hi-hat, both hands. And beat 1, hands together. Beat 2, here's beat 3, hands together for beat 4, and bass drum, hi-hat, and 4. All right, very good. Now let's play it in time. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, and ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Good, and a little faster. 1, 2, ready, and. All right, very good. So the next thing, once that feels comfortable, once you've kind of walked through it and then played it in a few different tempos, let's see if we can challenge ourselves even a little bit more and count all of the 8th notes with our voice while playing that same groove, right? So while I'm playing what we just played, I'm going to say 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? Let's try that. 2, ready, and go, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and right. What that's going to do for us is allow our minds to kind of fill up the space in between the beats, right? Because you'll notice there's kind of a lot of empty space, right? Or like kind of dead air in this groove, right? Between the notes, where there's nothing happening, right? Unlike the previous version of this groove when we played, right? So we have a more active hi-hat, which kind of fills up space, which gives us less room for error in our timing, okay? So by counting then all the eighth notes, we kind of fill up that space with our voice, and it helps us keep the time nice and consistent, okay? Then what you want to do after you're able to speak that is then just do the same thing but in your mind, okay? That's what is often referred to as like subdividing, when you're counting a faster note value than what you're playing in your head to help you stay more consistent timing wise, okay? All right, so have fun with that groove, break it down, add it up piece by piece, right? And then speak it with eighth notes. When you feel good about it, let's move on to the last option, last combination we're gonna do with this one today. And that is to play our hi-hat only on the ands, right? This one can be a little bit tricky, but again, just hang in there, keep working on it, keep counting, keep breaking it down, it'll come with time, all right? So we're thinking 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, okay? Again, that's why it's so helpful to count the eighth notes so you know exactly where to put that note, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, all right? Let's see if we can add our bass drum on 1 and 3 with a hi-hat on all the ands, okay? Here we go, 2, ready, and go, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Okay, now let's try to do the same thing with the snare drum, right? So it'll be 1 and snare and 3 and snare and, okay? Ready, and go, and 1 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. Okay? Good. Now let's put the whole thing together. Again, we'll break this down, okay? So when we think of this one in combinations, it's going to be bass, hi-hat, snare, hi-hat. Bass, hi-hat, snare, hi-hat, right? Right foot, right hand, right hand. Okay, once you've kind of walked through it in slow motion a couple times, now let's put it in time. 1 and 2 and ready, go, and okay, a little faster. 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, okay, very good. What we want to do with these is get comfortable enough with each of the options that we've played, right? With the hi-hat eighth notes, hi-hat on the quarter notes, and hi-hat on the ands only. We want to get comfortable enough with each of these combinations that we can just kind of play them in succession of back to back. Okay. That way we're comfortable enough with this pattern that we can, once we start playing this along with music, then we can start thinking about all of the other things we need to think about when we're playing music, and not just playing the pattern on the drum set. Okay, so we'll kind of jump back and forth from groove to groove and get used to kind of starting in one pattern and then stop real quick, start in another pattern, and so on. Okay, so let's start with hi-hat eighth notes on all the eighth notes. Ready, go. Good. Hi-hat quarter notes. 2, ready, go. Hi-hat on the ands. 2, ready, go. Okay, very good. Now last thing we're going to do here is play 4 measures of eighth notes, 4 measures of quarter notes, 4 measures of ands on the hi-hat without stopping in between. Okay, so you have to now make sure that you keep track of how many times we've played each one, right? And then be ready to switch. Okay, this might take a little, a little practicing to kind of get to the point where you can do this. But once you get comfortable enough in the groove where you can put them in this order, you're in a good place. Okay, so eighth notes, 4 measures, quarter notes, 4 measures, ands for 4 measures, no break in between. Okay, all right, here we go. Good luck. 1, 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go, quarter notes. 3, 2, 3. Last one. Here we go, off beats. And 1. Okay, all right, very good. So enjoy that, play around with it. You can switch the order around, right, and just get really, really comfortable playing all these combinations, and we'll take it a step further next time.